ਅੰਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਕਰਮਚਾਰੀਆਂ ਅਤੇ ਫੋਰਡ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵਿਚਕਾਰ ਇਕਰਾਰਨਾਮੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਯੂਨੀਅਨ ਇੱਕ ਸੰਭਾਵੀ ਹੜਤਾਲ ਦੇ ਨੇੜੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਕਿਊਬ ਦੀ ਅੰਟਾਰੀਓ ਸਕੂਲ ਬੋਰਡ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਆਫ ਯੂਨੀਅਨਜ਼ ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੂਬੇ ਭਰ 'ਚ 55,000 ਲਿਬੇਰੀਅਨ ਅਤੇ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਸਨਿਕ ਸਟਾਫ ਸ਼ਾਮਿਲ
UP specifically is trying to impose on children. We want kids in school, and we hope that through this discussion we will land a good outcome for the workers, but most importantly a great outcome for these kids that preserves the in-person learning that every parent in Ontario insists on and that our government and our premier will deliver.
This private mediation, is that binding, or is it describe the parameters of it?
Essentially we're bringing a independent mediator who we've used in the past with this union that just 2 years ago helped us deliver a deal. It does require all parties to be reasonable. Imposing nearly $20 billion demands or nearly 50% increase in compensation wouldn't be a way to do that. So we're going to the table with the spirit of being open, reasonable, and student focused to keep these kids in school. And I hope that the union will come forward with reasonable asks that allow us to get to the finish line, that allows us to get a deal done so that we can just put this behind us and focus on what matters to these kids, which is getting back on track on reading, writing, and math, and helping them rebuild when it comes to the physical and mental health that I think we all recognize has taken some impact over the past years. We owe it to these kids to keep kids in school, and we will do so.
By going into the mediation, does that suspend the timeline for the no board report? I understand the minister can come down at any time with
That's
that.
correct.
But was there some sort of agreement reached that while you're in mediations, the threat of no board report?
Unfortunately, the teacher union has enacted on a path to a strike. We hope the private mediation will avert a strike that it is unacceptable for children and unfair on the taxpayer. And my hope is that the union will hear the voices of parents who insist that children remain in school. The Premier and I have been abundantly clear. We will stand up to ensure they do. And my hope is that through the private mediator, we can land a good deal for all parties that protects the in-person learning and allows these kids to focus on catching up on reading, writing, and math, and building those life and job skills that I think they really need to lean into as we help them complete their school year without interruption, without disruption.
And reading into that wording, does that mean that you'll legislate them back to school if they go on strike?
The hope of private mediation is to avert a strike that the union is potentially imposing on children. We think that is unacceptable and unfair on every child who's borne so much impact over the past 2 years. We are committed to keeping kids in school. We will stand up to do so, and my hope is that through the private mediation process, the union will get sober second thought, reflect on the strike that no one wants, no one will accept, work with the government and the trustees to get a deal that keeps kids in school. That is our bottom line. That is what we're standing up for. And I assure families out there that are a bit anxious because of the potential almost continuous threat of a strike as it's happened every few decades, every few years in this province for many decades.